Powerhouse, presented by Alliant Energy.
Alliant Energy, we're on for you.
When the winter winds blow, you instantly feel any little leaks or drafts in your home. A thermographic survey can help you find those problem areas in your home. Joining us today is Rick Kubley with IR Energy Savers. And Rick, what exactly is thermography?
Well, thermography is the measuring of the radiation put off by materials. Every material has a different emissivity or a rate of releasing the energy that it's collected from the sun or the moon. And thermography is a way of measuring that radiation, putting an image to it, and actually a temperature also.
And what does that thermography then detect here in a house?
Well, we use thermography in a house for measuring lack of insulation in the walls. The camera actually sees the difference in the mass between the inside and outside, and it will measure the temperature difference in the walls, around windows if they're leaking, around doors if they're leaking, if there's enough insulation in the ceiling, or if we actually need to seal around light fixtures and that, because we can see the air coming down out of the attic.
Now, this technology, Rick, has been around for a while. Is this something I can go online, I can buy a camera, and then I can do it myself?
I have 15 years experience. I use the camera every day. I couldn't imagine going out and buying a camera and then trying to figure that out. The main thing with the camera is that unless you know how to read it, you're going to end up tearing open walls and doing things that you shouldn't be doing. There is training needed to run a camera.
What are we expecting for this the home survey cost?
The total home survey cost will be somewhere between $300 and $500.
And so this test then can be done really any time of the year, not just as we're going into the winter months.
People tend to think that we can only do it in the winter. As long as we have 15 degrees, we can air condition the inside in the summer, we can heat the inside in the winter, we can get that temperature difference.
Let's talk a little bit about your camera. I mean, how does this work, Rick? And
well, the camera actually, like I said, measures energy levels, and the energy levels are then turned into a image with a color map, and the color map has a range, and the dark part of this screen, the black, will be the coldest and the white will be the hottest, and it's a range of maybe 25 to 30 degrees, and we can vary that, and I can measure temperatures as low as -40 C with it or as high as 500 C. But we take a span, we look at the wall temperature, say your room is heating at 70 degrees. Well, the yellows in the image will be the 70-degree mark, and the blacks down there on this one is like 58 degrees, and so you know any black spots on the image itself are where the cold air is infiltrating through the walls.
now, this can be used inside and outside, right?
That's correct. In the summer, if I'm looking, or even in the winter, if I'm looking for air coming up through the plate and out the soffit area, I will, instead of depressurizing the house, I will actually pressurize the house and blow your conditioned air out the cracks. And then from the outside you can walk around and look at where it's coming out of the house. The only problem there is you can't do it on a windy day or a rainy day, or you want it to be as calm as it can be outside, because otherwise the heat will be wicked away from the wind.
Now, you also were telling me that, I mean, there's other things that you can pick up with this as well inside a house, right?
With this camera, I can find moisture from leaky pipes in the walls. I can find rodents, like if mice have built a nest and you can smell them, like say you can smell something rotting, you can walk around and actually, if they're still alive, you'll see their body temperature. There's looking at the walls, looking at roofs. You can actually find water under shingles with this camera.
And also you can look at maybe a fan, if you got a hot fan or something. If there might be...
We can look at the actual service main entrance to see that all the circuit breakers are actually working good, or their connections are not overheating. We can look at motors. If you think you smell a motor hot, We can pick up if the bearings are binding and they're actually heating with this camera.
But again, as we bring it back in terms of powerhouse, though, I mean, it's really it's a test that, I mean, you can really, as we try to make our houses more energy efficient, lower our energy costs, it's a great investment for a homeowner to have this test done.
It is. You have a proprietized list of your repairs when you're done with the infrared survey. You know, if you have small leaks, you may not worry about them. You might have been thinking, well, my house, the windows are all leaky, I got to replace them. You come in here and instead of the windows being leaky, you find that it was the way they were framed in, and if you lift the trim and just foam around the outside of the window under the trim, that all your problems are taken care of. So instead of spending $10,000 on new windows, you went out and spent $10 on a bottle of caulk, you know, or some tubes of caulk. So it's a good idea to use the infrared just to proprietize where your repairs are going to be in your house.
The infrared thermographic survey, a good investment in terms of, again, lowering your energy cost and conserving energy. Rick, a lot of great information. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.